Hey people, good morning, Positive Paul. Here we are on Monday, October 27th, 2025. All praise and glory to the Most High. No, I guess, motivation to make a video anytime soon, but of course, there's always something, a thorn in the side with YouTube that will force me to make a video. Now, the most important issue of our day is the spreading of the gospel of Christ and the good news. Numero dos would be the legitimacy of this rogue government that's found in the United States, and then, with the spider web that spreads out around the globe. And you see how day by day adverse actions are taken by the so-called president on trying to fix the situation where nothing is adding up anymore in the United States. Intentionally, purposely, deceitfully, diabolically, they've pretty much given away the farm, and now they want it back. So, with all this going on, not being too specific, the one numero two reason that we are in this situation is certainly to do with this end time scenario and the great deception, the strong delusion, given over to strong delusion, that they would believe a lie and not accept the truth. And to get people conditioned to this point has taken thousands of years. And somebody, the very intelligent, well, maybe not human, they've really figured out these brainwashing techniques. And so when we watch social media that's flooded with social media frauds, I mean, trust me, that you can find good on social media. You can learn things on YouTube. It's there. But the reality is lumped in, are these disinformation agents that are trained, bought and paid whores to spread disinformation and confuse people, lead them away from the truth. Now, when you go on social media, you do have some type of responsibility to present the truth, present facts. No matter, how well researched you are, you're doing this, coming at this, that you want to present the truth to people that might not be aware. Now, we're certainly by now aware of this so-called 3I Atlas comet that's getting ready to cruise by. And we, again, without getting in specifics, we know that some strange things have been documented about it, but we don't know whether this is an alien craft from another galaxy. But what do we do know? That right now, next to the most important issue of spreading the gospel, is the alien, non-human presence on Earth meddling with humans and, excuse me, and the UAP UFO phenomenon, which now is at a fever pitch because it's somewhat gone mainstream. We now for 5 years been hearing about this disclosure, and they to date they've never really given us anything concrete. And remember, all these whistleblowers are all, again, they're they're somehow able to continue on after they've spilled the beans, having homes to live in, refrigerators full of food, bank accounts, ATM cards, vehicles to drive around in, money to buy gas. None of that has been taken away from any of them. And the reality is they never even offered up anything with these couple of congressional hearings. But we see on YouTube, these YouTube channels, that there's individuals that are knee deep in the UAP, UFO, non-alien, non-human presence on Earth, heavily promoted, but they have one thing in common. They seem to go the way of the dodo bird. They're there and then they're gone. Now, with me, I've been one of the few ones on social media, YouTube, BitChute, Facebook, and I seem to have a lot of strange things happening around me. I'm still 10 years later, October 27th, 2025, 10 years later, I'm still being stalked and harassed by some of the most pathetic people. Because, see, the funders, the people that make all this happen, you can't get to them. They're compartmentalized. It's impossible. They pull the strings. And again, you would be surprised what people believe in. You could tell them anything, and then when you dangle $1 in front of their face, they'll do whatever they're told. And they can only do what they're told. No independent thought whatsoever. But as I've gone through this journey, every time I step out the door, I have, activity above me in the sky. Not just planes, but these UAPs and UFOs. And not only am I the only one that can properly document these events, these encounters, these incidents by stating the location, the time, the date, who I am, Paul Wilson Lindner Jr., not anonymous. I don't have some cream puff name like Custodian File or Plant Abundance, right? They seem to have been leading the charge, specifically Custodian File, on the UAP, UFO presence. But see, the one thing they can't do is properly connect where this really emanates from and who's involved. You know my explanation, and I'll just loosely say the military-industrial satanic complex. You've heard me say it a million times. Under that umbrella, you could go nuts with describing these dopey Satanists, Freemason, I might add. So they still have time, and it's that important to chase me around now 10 years later. It's that important to censor my YouTube channel. And YouTube is pathetic, remember that. Because either America's full of cowardly, weaselly Benedict Arnolds who won't go the next step to put these Satanists in their place, or, hey, the strong delusion is in full force. So this little rant right now has been brought on because once again, I see Plant Abundance pull down all his UAP UFO videos. And this was on Friday evening, I noticed. Now, Monday morning, they're still gone. And it's amazing. Out of over, I think now, I don't know, I looked, there was over 70 comments. There may be more now. Only one person said, hey man, where'd all your other videos go? Now, if anybody's been paying attention to me, and I know of at least one person, my friend in Scotland gets this, and others, but yet they won't comment on this situation, on why people put up some of the most sensitive material on their YouTube channels, but then all of a sudden remove it with no explanation at all. Now, why would this be important to me? Because there's people online pretending to be me with my story, using my documentation that over the course of the past 10 years, they come and go, these social media frauds, because I point them out when I can, when I find them. But lately, I don't spend much time or energy on it. My focus is keeping on watch and looking up. But I've pointed this out. This is the third time this Plant Abundance character has pulled his videos. We'll never get an explanation. And remember, this guy has over 500,000 subscribers. Where here I am, every person that I saw, it seems like, not maybe every, but they're constantly getting unsubscribed from my channel. Why would that be? What are they worried about? Let's put it this way. Remember what they do. The United States has conducted one of the most expensive slander, defamation, entrapment, fraudulent investigation schemes against me, Paul Wilson Lindner Jr. Now in its 10th year to cover up my implants, tracking implants in my teeth, in my body, satanic ritual abuse claims, and MK Ultra from the 60s. And there's no end to it. But I'm supposed to be crazy when I present the truth, and yet coming from me, it doesn't work. So see, I figured this out, and I don't need to talk about it or tell people or warn people anymore. Because we're so close to the end, it's not going to matter. So the two most egregious, Plant Abundance and Custodian File. Custodian File, you give him credit because he doesn't pull down his videos. But see what he does, when you look at his description on his channel on why he's doing what he's doing, he claims to be a big scientist, whatnot. And it's this quizzical fascination, childlike fascination, where these UAP, UFOs have nothing to do with these, well, American, Nazi, British, European, pedophile, Freemason, Satanist, scum creeps. He'll never make that connection because he can't. He may not be one of them, but he's a lackey. He's working for the military-industrial satanic complex. And I remember when I first called him out, he got on there the next day, something about, oh, my lawyer is going to, do something. Yeah, really, I would love to get in court and witness against these frauds. You go ahead and do that. And remember, I have nothing. They took everything away from me. So it doesn't matter. There's nothing they can do to me. They cannot steal my salvation. My eternal promise that was given to me and others that I will never forfeit. So Plant Abundance, back to him. This guy, I want someone to explain to me why now, for the third time, that I've documented on YouTube, we can go back and dredge up these videos on why this guy keeps continuing with this behavior. And it's not just him. See, there's been a long list. I could dredge up, take a stroll down memory YouTube lane, but at this point, it doesn't, you know. And someone that's close to me now has explained that, well, there's artificial intelligence, and they can doctor up videos, this and that. And I understand that, but I also know, with me in my position, I know how to scrub my footage. I know the difference between AI and what's there or not supposed to be there. It can be done. Or, if you want to say that, well, look, man, these Satanists, they're too smart for us. They can fool us all. We're just a bunch of dummies, can't figure out nothing. Well, man, see, I won't put I won't pigeonhole myself in that group, because, see, I've got this figured out. And this is why they've been chasing me around down in Mexico after they kicked me out of San Diego 10 years ago. And remember, what's worse is millions of Benedict Arnolds sticking their head in the sand, going along to getting along. But I'm going to cut this short. YouTube has hell to pay. They know this, along with the rest of these social media platforms, for their disingenuous, unethical, immoral business practices of censorship and the promotion of essentially all the things that they say is wrong with the world, right? The violence, right? The sexual perversion that they flood in social media. And then at the same time, the ones that point out this, they'll give them community strikes for, how dare you can't present this, because, see, the children, the fragile eggshell mind out there, and adults, they're not ready for this because they can't handle the truth. Well, I could continue, but I won't. Someone tell me what's up with this character, Plant Abundance. We got to shut him down. Keep your eyes to the sky, coming through those clouds, not those chemtrails.